Welcome to Season 3.
For 3 for the win. Yes!
Here's a list of players in NBA history with a no-trade clause. David Robinson, John Stockton, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James twice, Carmelo Anthony, and Bradley Beal. One of these things is not like the other. We will talk about Bradley Beal tonight as his team was in action 9 games across the slate in the NBA for Monday night, including our first double overtime game of the NBA season. Also had another overtime game up in Detroit. So a good night on Monday. Also, Conference Players of the Week to unveil is there are 2 players that will be facing off against one another on Tuesday night. So let's catch you up on the 9 games. Before we do, if you like the show, please do like and subscribe. Let's catch you up. Group chat, games of the night. Group chat, games, yes, 2 group chat games of the night. Because we had our group chat game of the night, and then we got a double overtime. So let's start with that double OT matchup. Heat Kings. No De'Aaron Fox. He was suffering a hip issue. 3-point Sacramento lead at half swung with a 31-18 Heat third quarter. I've been thinking about the Kings all day. Been in a couple discussions about the Kings and where they are at. Winners of 4 in a row post the firing dismissal of Mike Brown. So let's talk about what we saw in this game. The Heat build their lead to 17. The Kings cut it to 2 with 70 seconds left. Back-to-back misses from DeMar DeRozan. Couldn't tie it. Miami couldn't build on that lead. A foul of Sabonis puts the Kings on the line. He makes both creatively on the first. It was a back heel rolling. Never seen that before. Tie game under a minute. DeRozan, another miss. It gives Miami a chance to win it. Air ball from Tyler Hero. The Kings claim they got a timeout. There would have been 0.3, 0.9. They had not. Overtime. It was a sloppy overtime period. Kings go up 1 with a Sabonis 3 with 41 seconds left. Terry Rozier for the Miami Heat misses a 3, gets his own rebound on the tap out, misses the layup, rebounds that himself, gets fouled, makes both free throws. Miami leads by 1. Both of these teams were tired. Sacramento was on a back-to-back, albeit having played in Golden State the night before on Sunday. Okay, so Miami is up by 1, 18.7 seconds left in the first overtime period. Shot clock is off. Game clock dwindling down. Malik Monk gets his shot blocked by Haywood Highsmith. Jaime Jaquez goes to the free throw line after rebounding and getting fouled. He misses both. The Kings call a timeout. They advance it with 3.2 seconds left. Bam Adebayo sloppily fouls Keon Ellis in the corner. It looked as if it might be a 3. It was not. Foot was in front. He misses the first. Does make the second. 0.9 seconds left. Heat don't get a clean look on the inbound. Bam Adebayo misses. We have our first double overtime game of the year in the NBA. It was tired basketball for both teams. A lot of missed shots down the stretch. Tyler Hero did not play well. DeMar DeRozan did not play well until the second overtime period. The Kings score the first 5 points. Heat score the next 5. The difference was 9 consecutive from DeRozan. He had a heave that, I don't know, was ugly, but it went in. He gives them the 9 straight. The Heat score just 6 in the second extra period. The KANGZ Kings pull off the comeback in the victory, 123-118. That is your first group chat game of the night. Blazers Pistons up to Motown. Blazers, Chauncey Billups taking on the franchise he won an NBA championship with and finals MVP. It was his first visit to Detroit since being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And also 2 head coaches, products of Denver, Colorado, stand up. J.B. Bickerstaff, whose dad coached the Nuggets back in the day, and Chauncey, who grew up Park Hill, Denver, Colorado. Let's go. Portland led by 22 in the second quarter, but wild lead swing alert. Detroit would get the lead in the third. Teams trading buckets all of the fourth quarter. This game was incredibly entertaining. Back and forth, the scoring was good. Tim Hardaway Jr., Anthony Simons were the ones doing the scoring. It was a 1-point lead with 90 seconds left. So follow me here. Anthony Simons misses a 3, followed by a Malik Beasley made 3 In under a minute prior, he was 0 for 9 shooting. They were all threes, so he attempts his 10th three. Cash money. 4-point Pistons advantage. Quick alley-oop to DeAndre Ayton makes it a 2-point lead, 49.5 seconds left. Jalen Duren has a putback slam on a Cunningham miss, puts the Pistons up 4. Anthony Simons comes back, makes a 3 immediately from the top of the key, 12 seconds left. So would test the free throw shooting medal of Malik Beasley. He makes the first, misses the second. You got to make those free throws when you got a chance to win the game. The Blazers get a chance. Anthony Simons with the hot hand gets swiped by Beasley after the inbound. Pistons win 118-115. The Detroit Pistons are now 18-18. And folks, that may not seem great, but considering this is a team that won 14 games in the entirety of last season, they have now won 4 straight, 8-2 over their last 10, and they are in the hunt for a bona fide playoff position in the East. J.B. Bickerstaff, Coach of the Year candidate. He leaves Cleveland. Kenny Atkinson's got to be a Coach of the Year candidate too, as well. But both of these coaches have wound up in the right spots. Detroit gets the victory in overtime as we see 2 games in our first double overtime game in which the Kings win and the Pistons winning in overtime. Group chat games of the night. I remembered to properly scale the camera for tonight's show. Also, if y'all are watching on YouTube, are y'all rocking with the studio, the new studio arrangement? We got the Sneaker Showdown kicks in the back, also showcasing some of my fitteds, and that's my oldest pair of shoes, Jordan 3s from 2003, freshman year of college, when they first retroed the 3s, Wu-Tang Dunks. Those were the just recently released Wu-Tang Dunks. Won those in a raffle in which Raekwon did an in-store signing, and of course, you got my Texas Longhorns showcasing for this week. All right, let's talk rest of the slate. All that to talk about. Yes, the headlines are back, and the Knicks went sub-zero frost tonight. It was an East Coast, Midwest heavy slate. There was just one West Coast game. We already did that. And there were just 2 games between teams with winning records. We will start with those. The first, the Magic and the Knicks. No Karl Anthony Towns for the Knicks, knee issue, but that pales in comparison to the Magic injury report that has now Jalen Suggs added to such, with a back issue. Had seen him wheeled off the court, but haven't seen anything reporting-wise that it would be long-term. Just not in the lineup tonight. Madison Square Garden, very little energy for this Monday night game. The story was this resilient Magic team. Jamal Mosley, there's another Coach of the Year candidate who has had an answer every time that they've been dealt a bad hand, and they had that tonight every time when the Knicks tried to come back in it. Big made 3s from KCP kept the Knicks at a distance. It was a made Wendell Carter 3 that gave the Magic an 11-point lead, 3 minutes left. Clyde and Mike Breen seemed befuddled at the effort from the Knicks, as the Magic, a terrible offensive team per them, they do struggle at times to score, but look at their personnel. I mean, come on, cut them a break. They were 4 for 5 from 3 in the 4th period. The Knicks, yeah, they were sub-zero frost from deep. 4 for 21 from 3, missed 15 in a row at one point in the contest. The Magic defense silences the Garden crowd, 103-94 victory. The Knicks, and this is the ire of all coaches, fans, whomever you want to ask, they let one loss turn into multiple. As you track back to that Thunder game on Friday night, that was the one loss that has now turned into 3. Their first 3-game losing skid of the season after having ripped off 9 in a row. 24-13, the Knicks now are record-wise. Orlando 22-16. This figures to be the battle for 3rd in the East. I don't think either of those teams are going to catch the Celtics. Well, looked like the Knicks possibly could have before they went on this slide. But a big win for the depleted Orlando Magic. Good night for Cole Anthony. Get to him in a little bit. Mavs Grizzlies, the other game between 2 teams with winning records. Mavs are in a world of hurt injury-wise as well. Kyrie Irving is the most recent addition, out 1 to 2 weeks with a bulging disc. got to get that one right. If you follow sportscasters over the year, yeah, bulging disc in his back. That's on top of Luka, who looks nowhere close to coming back. He's been out since Christmas. His reevaluation timeline with that calf injury is 1 month, but they will receive no sympathy from the Grizzlies, who lead the league in games missed due to injury. The Mavs, they did play hard. They led by 12 in the second quarter until Memphis took the lead prior to half. The Grizzlies outscore the Mavs by 14 in the second half. They win 119-104. 35-13 for Jaren Jackson Jr. Is he having an all-NBA type year? I don't care about all-stars. That's whatever. All-NBA is important, especially because all-NBA gets guys paid. They can make more. The averages for Jaren Jackson Jr. 22, 6 rebounds, 2 dimes. Most importantly for his team, he has played every game minus the first 2 of their season. Has been their steady rock amongst all of their injuries. Grizzlies, they remain third in the West, a game behind Houston. The Mavs have now lost 5 in a row. Dangerous ground for the Mavs right now in the maybe not so competitive or good as Western Conference as we thought earlier. Yeah, we'll talk about that at a later date. Let's talk about the Mavs. 5 losses in a row. Their upcoming schedule: Lakers, Blazers, Nuggets 2 times. All of those games in Dallas. Got to find something from the guys that they got. They will be without another. We will talk about that in injuries and news. The Mavericks currently 6th in the Western Conference. Let's talk about Clips. Wolves, battle of the 3 stripes signature athletes. Anthony Edwards, James Harden, well, 2 of the Adidas star athletes. 53-46, the Clippers led at half. Norman Powell had 13 of those 53 Clippers points, but the Wolves found some fire to begin the second half. A 15-point third quarter for Anthony Edwards, who I was trying to think of the player comp of story arc he is now entering. And the best that I could think is Gilbert Arenas. Because it feels like Anthony Edwards, he's just going to shoot it, and try to will his team to victory. It's what he did tonight. Kawhi did play, was on a minutes restriction. He played just 20 minutes. You have a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 7-time All-Defensive Player that's sitting on the bench as Anthony Edwards puts together a 15-point third quarter and puts his team back in it. Now, I'm not here to comment on someone else's health and what's going on, especially for Kawhi with his history. But, wouldn't you just be like, come on, let me get in there for a second and stop this? All these players are always playing the long game. You're playing the long game. But we've talked about the compete problem in the NBA. Eventually, the game is up. Eventually, you're out of the prime of your career. And I don't know what it is or where they are at with Kawhi, but 20 seems like an arbitrary number. I am not a physiotherapist. I am not a scientist. But yeah. Also, sidebar, the Clippers broadcast crew, miserable. It is okay when you are the play-by-play. I have done this. It is okay to call big shots and make them feel big for the opposition. Yes, you want your team to win when you are a home announcer, but you can call big shots. Anthony Edwards was making big shots. The Clippers play-by-play man, he didn't care. He was just letting them sit there. And Mike Fratello, I know he's been doing this forever, and it sounded like it. He sounded as if he had drank a pint of lean prior to the game. He killed any energy that was in a great game in front of the Minnesota fans, had great environment. It was a 1-point Clippers lead with 2 minutes left. Okay, now back to the game. Rant over. It became a 2-point Wolves lead after a Jaden McDaniels corner 3 after an Anthony Edwards assist. Norman Air Fryer Powell responds with a made layup and 1. Clips by 1, 95 seconds left in the game. Step back Edwards 3 gets the Wolves the lead back. Zubac misses. Edwards comes down, bangs another 3. They go up 5, do the Wolves, 34.4 seconds left. Some free throw shenanigans gave the Clippers a chance to send it to overtime on a tip-in, but they could not. The Wolves prevail 108-106. 37 points for Anthony Edwards, 14 of 29 shooting. Like I said, Gilbert Arenas arc. 7 rebounds, 8 assists, sharing is caring. For Edwards, Minnesota 18-17, 9th in the West, the same record as the Warriors in 8th, both chasing the Los Angeles Clippers that are at 20-16. I wasn't trying to dunk on Bradley Beal specifically at the top of the show, but when you read off that list of players that have had a no-trade clause in NBA history, it is incredibly rare. We hear of it in other sports, but to get one in the NBA, LeBron has done it twice. All of those other players are Hall of Famers. Debatable. You can debate on your own if Bradley Beal is one, but shout out to his agents for getting him a deal that had a no-trade clause from the Wizards. He's already had to waive that once in order to facilitate the trade to the Suns. Let's talk about his team, the Suns, in action against the Sixers. Why is this relevant, you might be asking? Well, the big story heading into this game, the reporting that the Suns are beginning to explore the market with Bradley Beal. And Bradley Beal maybe not so happy with head coach Mike Budenholzer's decision to bring him off of the bench. Yusuf Nurkic joining him as well, moving from the starting lineup to the bench. No Joel Embiid in this game for the Sixers. It was listed as a foot sprain. I don't know, whatever. Philly started out strong. They led by 12. It was all Phoenix from there. They win the second, third, and fourth quarters. Quarter three was the difference. They win by 9. It finishes a 109-99 Suns victory. Did moving Beal to the bench work? I think so. 25 points in 29 minutes, 9 of 14 shooting. The Suns bench outscores the Sixers 54-7. Whether it was a motivation thing, whatever it may be, Coach Bud at least is validated in the move for now. But is Bradley Beal happy coming off of the bench? He did play 29 minutes. Kevin Durant also had 23 points. The game high was 31 from Tyrese Maxey. Question for you. Let me know in the comments. Bigger disappointment thus far this season in terms of their play? Paul George or Devin Booker? Devin Booker struggling to shoot. Paul George, I looked at some numbers, as I always do. Lowest scoring season since 2011. His second lowest three-point shooting season as a pro. 33.6% he is shooting from behind the arc, a career 38% three-point shooter. For Devin Booker, it is his third worst field goal percentage of his career, 43%. It is down 6 percentage points from last season, the last 2 seasons, in fact, in which he has shot 49%. Devin Booker has been a very efficient scorer the last 2 years. That's where he's hung his hat. Third team All-NBA last season. So thus far, struggling seasons for both of these players that are All-NBA caliber players. What's your opinion? Let me know. While you're at it, like and subscribe to the show. Sixers are 14-20. Very interesting how mirror image these teams are of one another. Sixers, they are 11th in the East with that 14-20 record. The Suns, they are 16-18. They are 12th in the Western Conference. One last note regarding Bradley Beal post-game. He was asked regarding his status both as a Sun and the motive in bringing him off of the bench. And he said, quote, "If so, I need to be addressed because I hold the cards. Until I'm addressed and somebody says something different, then I'll be a Sun." Okay. That's the advantage of the no-trade clause. Bucks, Raptors. Bucks needing to get right. Consecutive losses to the Nets and Blazers. They had lost 4 of their last 5. How do you get right? Well, you play the Raptors. It was a quiet night from Giannis scoring-wise, but he did everything else. 11 points, 12 rebounds, 13 assists, triple-double. Shot the ball just 8 times, made 5 of those. Lillard had a game-high 25-20 from Bobby Portis. The Bucks led by 33. They win by 24. They move 2 games above 500, 18-16. A 5th place. Sorry, my notes say in the West. They're in the East, Tyler. 5th place in the East. Yes, 18-16. Good enough for 5th in the East. Spurs, Bulls. Spurs, they led by 15 at half. Their biggest lead was 19. The Bulls did not quit. They went on an 11-0 run over the last 3 minutes and change of the contest. It included a 14-point Zach LaVine, 4th quarter. He had 35 points in the game, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. Yes, I think I am giving you a clue that the Bulls won this game. Nikola Vucevic helped with 24 points, 23 from Kobe White. At best, the 23 and 14 rebound performance from Victor Wembanyama. The Spurs, it was 114-110. I was checking out the graphic here to the side as to what the final score was. Both teams are lingering just above the play-in cut. That is the 10th position. in their respective conferences. Final game of the 9-game slate, Pacers-Nets. Pacers trying to get out of the 500 logjam in the East. 5th through 9th is separated by just 1 game. So if one of those teams can go on a run, it looked like it was going to be the Bucks at one point. Well, they got to win tonight. For the Nets, no KANGZ, no Johnson, no Thomas, no D'Angelo Russell, no Ben Simmons for the Nets. That's how you pull off a tank job right there. It would allow the Pacers to get their 3rd win in a row, 113-99, 23 points, 8 assists from Tyrese Halliburton. Indy moves above 500, 19-18, 7th in the East. Heavy Pour, leading score of the night, presented by the wonderful folks over at Portland Water. Visit them at drinkpdxwater.com. They ship all across the United States. We'll deliver you a nice box of delicious water so you can enjoy the Heavy Pour. Leading score, that was Anthony Edwards, an encore from his career high 53 points in the L against Detroit. He gets 37 tonight. Feels probably a little more satisfying as it came with a W attached. Dunk of the night, Kobe White on Victor Wembanyama. Albeit Wemby was a little late on his rotation, so hadn't fully gotten up there, but it was a pretty nice flush for Kobe White. Performance of the night, I said I would get back to this player, Cole Anthony. Team desperately in need of some scoring, some leadership, just with the void that they have. Players that aren't on the court due to injury. He's been the forgotten man sometimes in Orlando. Seen some big moments this season. He had tears after one of their fourth quarter comebacks that he was at the helm a couple weeks back. Tonight he had 24, 7, and 4 in their victory over the Knicks. Important game in the standings in the Eastern Conference. Stat of the night. And I'm looking forward to the Wednesday night meeting between the Thunder and the Cavs. I saw this one online, so wanted to share with y'all. Cavs, they have won 10 consecutive games, 10 or more points. So 10 consecutive wins, double digits. That is tied for the longest streak in NBA history. It's big on big for Wednesday night. Something's got to give. Injuries and news for the day. Conference Players of the Week for Week 11 of the NBA season have dropped. Thank you so much to the NBA for the fancy infographic. In the Western Conference, it was Nikola Jokic, the reigning MVP. His team winning 3 games, losing 1, 36.5 points per game, 16.5 rebounds, and 11.3 assists. Those numbers are absurd. If you're not watching Nikola Jokic, you should, because what he is doing is absolutely historic. Guys are having great seasons. Nikola Jokic is having a historic season in terms of what he is doing offensively. Jason Tatum in the Eastern Conference, his team going 3-1 as well. 25.5 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. And oh, what do you know? These two teams meeting up against one another on Tuesday night in Denver. I swear the NBA scriptwriters, sometimes they do get it right. And it is a great signature shoe showdown that will happen on court. And I do have, if you look over the left shoulder, yes, those are the Nikola Jokic signatures. I have yet to unbox them. I haven't even looked at them yet. They just dropped this season, just got them. It was a very circuitous mailing process from China for $361. Some dude in a random Hyundai rolled up and dropped them off at my door. But hey, I got the shoes, and I'm interested in. I haven't even looked at them. That's part of the unboxings that I want to do. And I also have the Jason Tatum, so we will set that up for tomorrow's showdown in Denver between the last 2 champions in the NBA. Other news items, get to the injury first. It was yet another injury for the Mavs. Daniel Gafford, the big man, left tonight's game against Memphis with a left ankle sprain, did not return. So we will wait to see what the reporting is in terms of timeline for Gafford, as the Mavs cannot afford to have another injury. And the headline, Ryway or the Highway, Maybe, maybe not, as Jimmy Butler, who was dealt a 7-game suspension that the Players Association, is going to protest to try to get him some money back. Well, the reporting now is that the Heat are open and preparing to have Jimmy Butler back into the fold with the team post-suspension. I don't know what the outcome is with that one. Pat Riley, he gonna do what Pat Riley does. That is injuries and news for the day. House shoes. Got some New Balance 1906 R's that I am rocking today. Well, these are 1906 U's. I don't know what the difference is between an R and a U, but these are fly shoes. Long show because there were 9 games tonight, so let's keep this house shoes brief. I've been on a roll lately here in house shoes. I want to talk blackout restrictions. This is another broadcast related, but ultimately a league visibility related issue because, as you guys may know, if you've listened to the show, I live in Austin, Texas, which, even though they do play 2 games as allowed in Austin, Texas, across the course of their regular season, the San Antonio Spurs, Austin is considered, because it's within 100 miles, I believe that continues to be the radius, within market for the San Antonio Spurs. So every time the Spurs play, I am blacked out. I cannot watch the San Antonio Spurs. I am not a San Antonio Spurs fan, but I can't watch them at home on NBA League Pass. The blackout restrictions are so archaic and stupid, they need to be lifted. Nobody carries their cable package anymore. I know that regional sports networks still exist. They are fighting for their lives. The San Antonio Spurs are carried by Diamond Sports Group that just got out of their bankruptcy court case. In restructuring, they will continue to carry a select number of MLB teams along with, I believe, 13 NBA franchises. A lot of you probably watch your team on Diamond Sports Group, better known as FanDuel Sports Network. Last year, known as Bally Sports, because this was all part of their bankruptcy process, trying to find 2 nickels to rub together to stay on the air. The NBA needs to step in and say, enough is enough. Within NBA League Pass, you get every team, every game, does not matter. That should include the national games as well. I know that the national providers will not do ball with such, and it's already written into the deal, so I'm talking pie in the sky, but it is very atrocious, stupid, that when you are in your own market, you cannot watch your own team if you pay for NBA League Pass. And yes, the yelling at the sky old man would say, well, just get a cable package. Does anybody really have cable anymore? What to watch Tuesday night, 7-game slate. The highlight, the past 2 champions in the NBA, the Boston Celtics last year, 2 years ago, the Denver Nuggets. They will meet up on a national TV platform. The game is being played on TNT. Prior to that, it will be Lakers Mavericks in Dallas. The other 5 games, not so hot. How about the scheduling for the Wolves after their victory tonight on their home floor against the Clippers? Have to get on a plane to play a back-to-back tomorrow night in New Orleans. 2 hours and 50 minutes the flight time. U.S. travel, north to south, not as bad as east to west. The one news item for that game, Zion Williamson, upgraded to questionable. Maybe he goes. You'll have to come back to Z's and Threes tomorrow to find out, as we will have you covered all things NBA. You sleep, I peep. Thank you so much for continuing to rock with me, Tyler Denning, Z's and Threes. If you're a fan of the show, please do like and subscribe. Send to a friend. If you're listening on pod, give us 5 stars. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.